Good evening, listeners, brave navigators of the enigmatic and the concealed. Have you ever felt the pull of the unanswered, the allure of the mysteries that shroud our existence? For more than a decade, a unique comic publisher has dared to dive into these mysteries, unafraid of the secrets they might uncover. This audacious entity is Paranoid American. Welcome to the mystifying universe of the Paranoid American podcast.
Launched in the year 2012, Paranoid American has been on a mission to decipher the encrypted secrets of our world. From the unnerving enigma of MK Ultra mind control to the clandestine assemblies of secret societies. From the awe-inspiring frontiers of forbidden technology to the arcane patterns of occult symbols in our very own pop culture. They have committed to unveiling the concealed realities that lie just beneath the surface. Join us as we navigate these intricate landscapes, decoding the hidden scripts of our society and challenging the accepted perceptions of reality.
Folks, I've got a big problem on my hands. There's a company called Paranoid American making all these funny memes and comics. Now, I'm a fair guy. I believe in free speech as long as it doesn't cross the line. And if these AI-generated memes dare to make fun of me, they're crossing the line.
This is your expedition into the realm of the extraordinary, the secret, the shrouded. Come with us as we sift through the world's grand mysteries, question the standardized narratives, and brave the cryptic labyrinth of the concealed truth. So strap yourselves in, broaden your horizons, and steel yourselves for a voyage into the enigmatic heart of the Paranoid American podcast, where each story, every image, every revelation brings us one step closer to the elusive truth.
Yeah, I know we just saw the normal intro for Paranoid American podcast, but this is actually maybe a new series. I'm not really sure yet, but I got my homie Ani over here, and the idea is to just go over some of our favorite albums, our favorite songs, maybe break down the lyrics, break down the album artwork. It's not meant to be like a full, complete decode where we like went to the books and we came back with like encyclopedias full of knowledge. But for me at least, music is a huge inspiration for the stuff that I do. It kind of shows this other way of communicating deeper information through, not sometimes even the lyrics don't matter. Sometimes like the music sets a tone. And anyways, we're gonna get into all that. I picked 5 albums. Ani picked 5 albums. What's going on, Ani? How you doing, man?
What's going on, bro? Yes, and I think this is going to be an excellent series because you get to dive and see the intricacies to why we got to where we're at right now with this whole thing. And me, personally, music is very essential, to life. I always play a certain vibratory frequency before my videos of these new artists that's into the same things that we're into right now. And they don't really get the light that these industry rappers have gotten over the years. And of course, we do have legends in the industry. Let me, put that out. Just because they're in the industry doesn't mean they don't have, certain gifts or talents. But I think it's important for us to look through the science and see how it's all put together. And all of the intricacies is very important.
And I'd love if anyone's got suggestions in the comments or anything on like where maybe this series might go. So it's named Sound Science for now, and Sound Science is actually a nod to the music that I used to make way back. I mean, I still do, but I don't do it professionally anymore. But I had this group, Sound Scientists, and you might have heard us if you watched MTV or VH1 or a number of just like I think we had some stuff on Adult Swim and Cartoon Network in the early 2000s. So you might have even heard some of my stuff 2 decades ago and not realized it. There was one solo album that I put out under Sound Scientist that's all instrumentals with a bunch of tracks. And then this year, I just recently dropped 2 albums. One's called Clinton's Greatest Hits, and it's got songs such as things that I might not even say out loud. We got one called Creepin' Bill Clinton, Arkansas, which is about the Mena, Arkansas murders. Hunter Biden, F a Laptop, Shed on You, perfect. One of my favorites. one called the Clinton Body Count, which is really good, and then another one here that just dropped called Cult Classics. And every single
Okay.
song is about a different cult. So we got Jonestown Juice, Skull and Bones, Heaven's Gate, and Nexium, but it's spelt different on purpose. Someone's already pointed that out. Jolly West, a whole bunch of like really interesting ones. So, anyways, this is where I'm coming from. Is I got a music background. If you want to hear some interesting intersection of Paranoid American and music, check out Sound Scientist on iTunes and Spotify and everything else. But so I guess I'll just get it started. I picked 5 albums. The 5 albums that I picked was Non-Phixion, The Future Is Now, Dead Prez, Let's Get Free. That's not the album cover.
Mm-hmm.
Lyricist Lounge Volume 1, in particular, this song called Holy Water. KRS-ONE I Got Next, although technically this one's like less than it's interesting. We'll get into that one. And then this one's might seem like out of left field, but I've brought this up a few different times. And this album and this song in particular rocked my world. And even though it's like kind of seems like it's a silly theme album from Sticky Fingers of Onyx, it's actually really deep, and it gave me a completely new respect. And I just wanted to start this out too, that I didn't just go out and get these for this show. I promise. I actually got this one when it came out, and I think this was in '99 or in 2000. And it came with like the signed poster and everything. So like I'm a super OG Non-Phixion fan. It's amazing that they still got like a incredible staying power, like the whole group essentially. And then also just for extra cred, I also have Lyricist Lounge Volume 1 on vinyl. I've had this for over 2 decades too. So these are by far some of my favorite albums of all time, just going into it. So
it's crazy. My vinyls, I got a lot of vinyls too. Me and my father, we would collect vinyls, classics, and I have some over when I just made a move into the new place. I had to split the vinyls with my brother. My dad made the transition years ago, so it's crazy. I'm seeing you're also a collector of it, and it's also crazy that recently I had to get my ASCAP because someone requested me. I was a part of a hip hop group in the mid 2000s called Hustle Dior, and we put some music out together. We never released our EP. We were supposed to release. I still have the art of the EP. You know, me looking all young, in front of it, everything. So it's crazy. Now that you're saying that you were involved with music, a lot of people don't know I also
I didn't know that. It's awesome, man.
Oh yeah. I actually went into the studio about 3 months ago and recorded a track for a friend, and he was talking to me about how you split the writers, all of that type stuff. So I was like, I don't even care, bro. Like, you just came and got me, put me on the album. I dropped a verse. It was a very good verse, and I wasn't really worried about the business side of it, but he was just stressing it. So I said, okay, let me go ahead and get my ASCAP. Now I'm under Ani Osaru. My name has changed. So yes, Ani has, I'm a part of a album that's going to be released within a week or two. So
yeah, what should someone search for to find it?
Let me, honestly, he told me, I think it's called, is it No Bad Days? Let me look real quick. I'm sorry, guys.
No Bad Days? No, that's I didn't know any about this. This is awesome, man.
Yes, I'm sorry. And
what's the blocker on the EP getting released? Is it just have other people involved and you gotta like get okays on everyone, or
it was that we fell out with the producer, and me and the group I was a part of, the other guy that was in the group, we didn't have some agreements with some of the release times. So we kind of just like split, then we ended up getting back together, not as a group. We ended up working at the same place. So we kind of mitigated all of that, but we just never took the step of releasing it.
Working on group music projects is extremely difficult because of what you just described. It's like the most common story ever, but there's so many music projects that I was involved in too, and you get all the way to the finish line, and at the last second, someone wants to like change the name of the group, or they want to go back and like swap out a song, or maybe like you said, there's a falling out. Maybe they had a guest feature with some other, artist, and now they're not cool anymore, and now they want to cut that a song off the album, or just there's all these things that happen
Yes.
that my best advice to anyone out there is that if you're close to getting the album done, if you're like 80%, like do whatever it takes to get that last 20% done and submit it, and just be happy that you got something released out into the wild, because so much can happen during that last 20%. And I'm not going to say regret, but it's like sometimes just a waste, and sometimes it's like the rest of the world misses out on something that you created that's really cool, that
Mhm.
after this like small moment in time passes, it no longer can be released, because then it causes, feelings or whatever it is that makes it so that someone doesn't want it released anymore. So it's
Man,
a
that's
it's a
great
weird
advice.
world, man. It's a really interesting a
It
part of
is.
big part of why I left that professionally, and I just do it for therapy now. But like fighting over the dumbest things, like what, you want to change your name, like the album comes out in a month and you want to change your whole whatever, man. I'm not going to get into too many tangents on that right now.
No, that's great advice, bro. That's so much great advice. 'Cause I think we're gonna regret a lot for not releasing that project that we had. But the name of the album that I'll be on is called "Have a Nice Day." It's gonna be spelled. The guy name is Nice with a Y. So you spell it Nyce, and the song is gonna be called "Lights Out." So I'll be on that album. It should be out by next week. So I'll give you a heads up on that time is when it's released. But yeah, our album it had a unique blend of music because we were big. I'm a big Nas fan. I've always been a big Nas fan. He's been always a big Tupac fan. So imagine if Nas and Tupac was in a group. The music, the type of flow that Nas had and the flow that Tupac had, especially their message, was essential to the hip hop culture. If you look at hip hop separate from rap, because how I look at it, there was a degradation during the early 90s because of gangsta rap that was, I think it was CIA to bring in some of these groups, especially NWA, and how they got their stamp in the game. What was the guy? What was his name? Jerry Helder or something like that? What was the guy that was funding NWA? You remember his name?
I was an East Coast
Okay.
aficionado, not as much. I know who you're talking about, but I don't have the name at the top of my head.
It's like Jerry something. I can't, you guys look it up, but some people think, when they brought it, NWA exploded gangster rap. And now, you see the mixture of this other, drugged out gangster rap that's everywhere, which people, Kanye has said a lot that he feels like all of this is, yeah, Heller. That's what I was thinking. He
Yeah,
has
Jerry Heller.
Heller in his name. He's gotten old. Okay. Oh wow. Wow. So
Yeah, it wasn't just Dr. Dre and Eazy-E and DOC and Bone Thugs, but it was a lot, man. Journey, Marvin Gaye, Van Morrison, War, Crosby, Stills
mhm.
and Nash, Ike and
Oh
Tina
wow.
Turner,
Tina Turner, I didn't know that.
Otis Redding, Black Sabbath. So yeah, man, this guy was at the heart of it all.
Wow, I didn't even know that. I never knew that. So he was doing a lot, you know.
Grand Funk
Uh
Railroad, yeah.
yeah, and Dr. Dre too, he wasn't always into that type stuff either. If you look into his early musical history, you'll see
Yeah, what was
that.
the yeah, World Class Wrecking Crew? Let's find an album cover on this one.
Oh my God, that is so funny, yo. I was surprised when I saw that when I was younger. I was like,
Yeah, this one right
wow,
here.
that's Dr. Dre.
Yeah, there's the OG Dre.
Yeah. So you see how these things can change. Yeah, he was wearing outfits like that. Yeah, the doctor.
They're almost going for this like Sun Ra funkadelic
Mhm,
look a little
mhm.
bit, right?
Sun Ra was dope. Sun Ra was really dope, man.
Yeah,
He was
shout out to
very
Sun
dope.
Ra. That song "Nuclear War" is like one of my favorite. Even almost every Sun Ra songs, like if someone just walks by and they just hear like a minute segment, it might not even sound like music. It might just sound like some dude talking. But
Right.
it's amazing music that it takes a little while to get it acclimated to. But it's yeah, Sun Ra's so dope, man.
Yeah, he was so esoteric, before his time. Yeah, he has such an esoteric mind. And it took me, I'm way younger, so it took me years, to come back across that because I heard about Sun Ra listening to Bobby Hemmett in one of his lectures, and I was like, "Who is Sun Ra?" And I went back and listened to his albums, and I was like, "Wow, look at his album covers of how he presented himself. He didn't care, bro. He was like way into this Egyptian, yeah, alchemical type thing. And I don't think nobody was doing that or even doing it now, unless there's some satanic stuff involved with it. So he was ahead of his time and he had a musical gift.
Yes, Sun Ra music is a whole nother level. And again, like you might need to work yourself into it in some ways. But look at this, Crystal Spears. Like this dude was
Mm.
way ahead of his time, man. Like he'd be blowing up right now. I have a feeling.
Yeah, I think he needs his own breakdown. Somebody needs to break his albums down, the album art, and get into it because I don't think I ever heard someone do a full Sun Ra breakdown before. So that would be interesting to go through his history, see how it all develops and how it all connects, especially from an esoteric
Well,
perspective.
that's what I was say is that there's probably a bunch of like jazz blogs and like jazz podcasts that
Mhm.
might have breaking it down, but I don't know of any occult, sort of perspective on breaking down Sun Ra's catalog.
I would have to look. I could look into the gematria, the release
Oh, this
dates.
is dope. There's a whole book on all of his album artwork called Art on Saturn.
No, see, that I would have to look into that. And that came out last year. You see, so people are recognizing it.
So, yeah,
People are,
so just for anyone listening in the future or that can't read this, considered the foremost exponent of Afrofuturism, Sun Ra
Mhm.
mastered a wide array of styles that span jazz, R&B, exotica, Afro hybrid, electronic, big band, solo piano, orchestra, experimental, and chamber works. 45 recording career. Uh,
Mhm.
and then this is just one. Apparently, this book is just covers like 30 years of his music. It's not even all of it.
Oh wow. Afro Abraham. Hilarious.
I mean, there's definitely like a even weirder George Clinton feel to this.
George
Like if
Clinton was that guy.
Funkadelic just
Yes.
decided to like stop playing instruments and just use their mind only or something. That's kind of what like Sun Ra might come out to.
That's why I added Kendrick Lamar's Pimp a Butterfly to my list. I'm sure we'll get into it because of the George Clinton effect. George Clinton has such an influence on hip hop. The Funkadelics, the P Funk music was some of them. It was a chaos. If you look into chaos physics, that's what funk is. Funk was a genre that really wasn't refracted in the public as much as jazz and these other genres. It just had its time, and then people just stacked over it. It's just they wasn't really trying to replicate it to that to that degree, but a lot of genres was stacked on top of it. And if you listen to it, it's just very random. If you look at James Brown, how he used to perform with the phone, he used to just bust out, be like, ah! It was real sporadic. It would get you in the blood flowing, it get you in the mood, and people need to recognize that when it comes specifically to hip hop, jazz and well, mainly funk is quintessential to early hip hop. What they were doing with the turntables, they were they were adjusting, some things that was going on with funk and some other stuff. But I
I
like to give,
I got this
recognition.
one buried somewhere back there, but this one um has come up
Okay.
as like one of the OG like rap albums before it was somewhere between disco and funk and rap. There was like this period of time when people would start to kind of like rap, and it wasn't necessarily tied to a specific genre at that point. It was just like a way of delivering lyrics. But this one in particular, I'll pull this one out at some point. But yeah, this
Yeah, that's
Hustlers
dope.
Convention, 1973. So if you're interested in some of the other like ones, and again, yeah, this was kind of considered funk, but it was very like if you listen to it now, you would just consider it to be like that old 80s rap where everything was like very simple. You could see every rhyme coming, but subtract
Mhm.
10 years from that.
Oh wow. Wow. I'm gonna have to give it a listen. Hustlers Convention. Okay.
And
Jalal.
it's awesome too because it's like a whole story. Like it says here, the album, it's an entire story of these two different hustlers, one
Oh.
called Sport and one called Spoon, which had like they each have their own little paths. Spoon's kind of like the drug dealer angle,
Mhm.
and then Sport's more of it's kind of straightforward, but it's also really dope. So
Yeah, it was
highly recommend that one.
it's very innovative how they did things during the funk era. Very, very innovative. That's what I'm saying. It's literally pioneering the whole thing. And there's a big time hip hop documentary about to come out in early 2024. I think what is it called? I think Tyreek Nasheed is producing it, who did the Hidden Colors documentaries, but he's never
Was
done
it
a music.
Scratch? Scratch came out in '04, I think.
No, this is about to come out in 2024. It's about to come out now. He's got
Okay.
all of the pioneers in it, bro. He went back and got was it DJ Cass, the first person to pick up a mic, the first MC ever to pick up a mic, the first female group in hip hop. He got so many pioneers in it, it's ridiculous. But I got to go back and let me look it up real quick so I can get the names. People can. They raised over 200 grand to get it done from the grassroots, but they wanted to go back into the early 70s and figure out what is the real story behind hip hop because we only get, everything from Cool Herc. They try to act like Cool Herc is the beginning of it, but it comes way before Cool Herc. You got to get into Disco King Mario, these other types of characters
I
that
never even
nobody
heard of that.
knows.
Disco King Mario?
You never heard of Disco King Mario?
Uh-uh.
Man, this guy is like quintessential, bro. Like, Cool Herc said that he got his whole style from him, from Disco King Mario. And I think he died at 38, so there's some funny occult stuff around
Well,
his
that's
death.
wild. Yeah, African Bambaataa started out as his assistant.
Yeah, yeah, there you go. There you go.
Okay.
Yeah, so this guy, like, he's a pioneer of hip hop, and nobody knows nothing about who he is.
Yeah, look at this. Why why doesn't Herc, Bambaataa, or Flash ever mention Disco King Mario? Right?
Right. It's called, okay, the documentary is called Microphone Check, Hidden History of Hip Hop. That's the new documentary, Microphone Check, Hidden History of Hip Hop. Yeah, that's the Kickstarter. So yeah, he's producing it. Yep, he's in it. Everybody's in,
Billy
all the
Mel.
pioneers in.
Okay.
Mhm. Oh, Cornbread, the first graffiti artist out of Philadelphia. They got him in there.
Got DJ Red Alert,
Yep, Red Alert in there.
B-Boy, A1 B-Boy Sasa.
Yep, yep. Some of the original B-boys going to be in because the reason why it's important to come out with a hip hop documentary now, 2024. This is the first time the Olympics ever included hip hop in the Olympics. They're going to have B-boy, in the
Really?
Olympics. Yes, for the first time ever in 2024.
Okay. I mean, I can see it if they got ice skating, why don't they have B-Boy competitions? It's both the same level of subjectivity, I think.
Yeah, I think it was a great idea. It's just we've never seen it before. So what's going to happen now, bro? All of these people are going to start jumping out, the woodwork saying, "Hey, I'm a pioneer of b-boy. I used to be here back in the
Where's my
80s."
gold medal?
So now b-boying is going to be put back on this, this mass media promotion of introducing it back to the world. Look at who the pioneers is, who started this, this section of the Olympics. So we need to clarify who are the real pioneers and who are the people that came later on. So everybody can get their bread distributed, because it's always a money grab, bro. So it's the right timing for the documentary.
I think that's actually a good topic. Maybe we can come back with like some of the older. Maybe do funk next. Funk would be a really awesome
Oh yeah,
episode.
let's do it. I would
Let's
love
plan
to do
on
that.
funk next. So here
Okay.
I'll start out with my five, and then I'll give
Okay.
you some time to pull up your five if you want to look over it the same way. So, and I'll
Okay.
actually talking about the founders. I'll start with KRS-One. Because I kind of consider him a founder. I remember getting a BDP album like really early on, probably before my parents had any chance to intervene. And like the 9mm song, I was like singing that when I was like 9 or 10. I could have sworn, but the KRS-One album, starting with I think Return of the Boom Bap, was the first one that completely knocked my socks off. And I think I was introduced through this Wake Up Show like compilation song, and it had like Exhibit and Eminem and Pharoah Monch and all these different people, and
Paramount.
KRS-One was in there, and I heard him drop this one verse that I had heard elsewhere, and it was like "Whoop Whoop," the sound of the police, and I tracked them down, and he became one of my favorite artists. But there was this one in particular, and I don't even know if I would consider it a song. It's a more like an intermission in this album I Got Next, but called Fourth Quarter Free Throws,
Mhm.
and it's basically a whole breakdown. Are you familiar with this song by any chance?
I'm not. I'm not. I'm not. I
So
only know certain KRS-One songs, but I did meet him in person and I have pictures with him.
that's awesome, man. I mean, that's to me, that's like a true legend. I'd love to get him on. Shout out KRS if you want to come on and talk to me and Ani about music,
That
more than
would be
welcome.
dope.
But this one really was the first time that I felt like I got some really important information delivered directly through song that wouldn't have happened elsewhere. And I'll read the lyrics. I'm not going to rap the lyrics because I would embarrass everybody. Like the secondhand embarrassment you just see people dropping, but where this is a story about how Jesus and the astrological connotations of his entire story. So he's talking the prophesied to return. Um, the new age is coming to an end, not the world, but the age is ending. This is an
Mm,
astrological message I'm sending. And then this is where it starts. We are living now in the age of Pisces. When Pisces is over at the year 2000, when the Son of God changes his house and enters the age of Aquarius, the Son of God as a man is hilarious. When you think of Jesus, think of the sun, the flaming sun. That's where they stole the concept from.
mm,
Stop believing and read Bible logically. The New Testament is really old astrology. Jesus, the Son of God, no lie. But they might be talking about the sun in the sky, the sun that hangs on the cross of the zodiac with 12 signs to be exact. Each sign is a house to keep in mind. Each house equals a period of time. That time, 2,000 years, and that's a fact. It's called an age or a house in the zodiac. The 12 disciples are the 12 months of reason. The four gospels signify the four seasons. When Jesus
mm.
fed the multitude with two fishes, it signified the age of Pisces, not fish on dishes. If you read the Bible astrologically, it's clearer. The next age will be the age of the water bearer. It's called the age of Aquarius, when logic and truth will take care of us. So, in this age of spiritual dignity, you'll see a rise in femininity and creativity meshed with masculinity. And like this right here was like line after line was breaking down these incredibly complex. And I'm pretty sure that I had at least thumbed through Manly Palmer Hall, or at least like an astrology book or something. Like I had been aware of the concept of Jesus and astrology and all that, but this is the first time that like it was easy to remember, like it made sense, like it was snappy, you know what I mean? So
Dope.
this one in particular just blew my mind when I first heard this.
Yeah, this is like a astrology class 101 kind of in music. It would be interesting. I need to go back and listen to this song in particular, but yeah, I've heard this before. And a lot of the early pioneers and artists, they were deep into knowledge, bro. Like I took a KRS-One. I met him. He was teaching a class on metaphysics. It was weird,
That's so
you
awesome.
know, and it was free. He just came down to South Carolina and taught a free class, on hip hop and metaphysics. So I came out there and the guy, everybody knows he's beaming with knowledge. So this type of music from back then, man, it's so classic.
So that's the first one. Non-Phixion, this whole album, it was hard for me to pick one. Again, I had this thing on vinyl. I listened to it over and over. But I mean, just the title, the CIA is trying to kill me. I'm not going to reread some of these, especially some of these lyrics are a little hardcore, even for what I'd be comfortable saying out loud, just for it to be like sampled and played back. But with like, so here's the hook. I'm paranoid. The CIA is trying to kill me. And then it's basically him saying like, what did you what did they say to you? What did you say to them? Like, it's just about this guy that's completely paranoid and quite literally thinks the CIA is out to get him. So I absolutely love this song. Necro, Ill Bill. I was a huge just regular Ill Bill fan too. He's got some other songs that I didn't want to necessarily just read out because it would make me seem like an absolute degenerate. But he's got one called "How to Kill a Cop," which is really interesting song. It like breaks down like how to get a gun and how to anyways, artistic purposes only.
Yeah,
100%.
yeah.
And then there's
That's
another one that I think it's called Diary of a Drug Fiend, or it's something, and it's about let me get that needle, something, or Dope Fiend. I think it's called Dope Fiend, and I think it might be about Necro's Uncle Howie or something, because later on they made Uncle Howie records. But anyways, this one I won't read out, but the future is
okay.
now. Non-Phixion. CIA's trying to kill me. Here's okay. This is another really, and this one is really hard. Almost everyone's heard the song "Hip Hop" because it was on Dave Chappelle's show, and it's just an amazing song in general. But at the very end of that same album in Dead Prez, there's this song, and if I remember this thing coming on, like I would fall asleep and like wake up, and this thing would just be playing and like chanting. And this is such a
Mm.
catchy damn hook right here, and it just says this over and over: FBI, CIA, ATF, KKK, IRS, TNT, CBS, NBC, and you just repeat it over and over
Mm.
again. But man, it kind of gives you an idea of what they're talking about. And then there's this one in particular: I don't believe Bob Marley died from cancer.
Mm.
And it's all about, it's just chants this over and over again. And again, this was one where I just like loved hearing about all of this. What are they teaching kids in our school buildings? They've got another really cool like an interlude that goes into a song on this album, and I think it's called The Wolf. Yeah, Wolves. And it
Mm.
starts out talking about how yeah, right here. I'm not a hunter, but I'm told in places in the Arctic where indigenous peoples might hunt a wolf, they take a double-edged blade, they'll put blood on the blade, they'll melt the ice and stick the handle in ice so that only the blade is protruding. The wolf
Mm.
will smell the blood and he wants to eat, so he'll come and lick the blade trying to eat. And what happens is that the wolf licks the blade, cuts his tongue, and he bleeds. Then he thinks that he's having a good meal, so he licks and licks, drinking his own blood, and he kills himself. Um, and they
Oh.
basically break it down that this is the Iran Contra scandal. This is what imperialists did with crack cocaine. This is the
Wow.
FBI and the CIA dropping, like you think that you're making money off of it. You think you're flipping these sacks and you're getting rich. But anyways, like this entire album, Dead Prez, they also have another one, Revolutionary but Gangster, I think, and they break down how to scam the system and like create fake personalities and get like fake IDs issued, and how to use those fake IDs to sign up for credit cards and then like default on the credit cards and go and buy stuff, return it for cash. But it's like a formula, like here's exactly how to do it. I don't know, I love the whole
Oh, that's
concept.
dope.
of breaking down like how to scam the system in a song. Two more. Again, this whole Lyricist Lounge album, but this one in particular, Holy Water, it's more in the delivery than in the lyrics. But you can even kind of say like, this is Lord Have Mercy, who was part of Flip Mode Squad with Busta Rhymes, and he's talking about take amendments on earth, feel free to challenge God as a mortal man, but it's all talking about how this holy water is almost like the opposite. Like you might claim to have holy water to fight demons, but I guess like part of creating that holy water is sort of this dogma that comes part of it. And then for me, this one again is seems so out of left field, because this album I didn't even think got a lot of accolades. It's an amazing concept album. It's this whole story about a guy that like gets out of jail and then he gets his friend into some trouble, and then it just like every song is a different aspect of the story. There's one where I'll even let me check on one of these. My dogs is my guns. This is such a great one where he's talking about his dogs, but like he's talking about his guns. So like if my Glock's on safe, that means my dog's on a leash. Each bullet's the teeth. I love this is such an amazing song. But the song that I wanted to show is this one called Oh My God. And basically Sticky is talking to God here. He's just like screaming out into the night because you know all of his friends are dead and everything that he is trying to go after is like leading to these dead ends. And then he finally answers, like God answers Sticky Fingers. So he starts asking him all these different questions. So he says, well, first God tells him, you are talking to yourself. We are one and the same. So that kind of like gives you the whole thing. But here's the questions. If you are, then why are we born if we live to die? Is there life after death? What were we before birth? Why is this whole earth plagued and cursed? If killing is a sin, is there life in other planets? Is adultery wrong? And did you write the 10 Commandments? So these are the questions, and God responds to every one of them. Again, this is Sticky Fingers talking to himself. So he says, we were never born and we will never die. That goes with the whole we are one, you know, energy can't be created or destroyed. And so in essence, there is no such thing as death. And then this is the biggest one for me. How could I write commandments and not have them kept? And when I heard that for the first time in, I don't know, 1999, I was like maybe 15 or 16. And I remember thinking like, man, that's so right. And now it's like, I've heard a million variations on this. One of them is like, if God is truly omnipotent, then how could anyone violate the laws or some, you know, variation of that? But this is again, such an elegant way of putting it. Like if I wrote 10 commandments and I'm God, like how could I even write something that wouldn't be kept for having that power? So that one really clicked with me. The soul is eternal. You just change form, then you come back with a new face on. This is like classic, maybe Rosicrucianism, maybe just like a traditional version of reincarnation. You cannot limit love unless you lack understanding. To answer you, yes, there is life on other planets. I like just how matter of fact that is. Just like, yeah, there's aliens. Next. The future is a mystery. The past is history. Today is a gift. That's why it's called the present. Now, I feel like today is a gift. That's why it's called the present. It's something you might see stitched on like a pillow in like a Cracker Barrel now, but this is still like a really dope line. And then life is simple unless you make it confusing. The wise ones will stand and the clever will use it. So I love this whole everything about this song. It's maybe not the best like musically because the hook is so annoying. It sounds like he's whining. But the lyrics are amazing. So
he sounds like he's a natural lyricist, you know, 'cause sometimes, well, in the early 2000s, you had these weird lyricists. They have, you know, not the best selection of beats, not the best selection of choruses, but if you listen to, you know, their raps, it was extremely lyrical. So I never listened to Sticky Fingers. I don't know why. I don't come across some of these artists, but I was big into lyricism, so I love looking into deep, you know, layers of how people, you know, put messages in lyrics. That's why I became a fan of Nas, you know, or Lupe Fiasco. You know, these are some of the greatest lyricists of all time. It goes back in history to the muse in the Greek history, to convey, messages at a subconscious level, but also put truth, mythology, and make it rhythmic. It really does have a mental effect on the mind, and it can change the way generations think. And hip hop really did that, I believe. I think it was first a social movement. This is another thing we can talk about, how it was changed from a social movement and it became a project for mind control. Because I don't think today is hip hop. I think the genre of hip hop changed in the 90s when they created rap and they created subgenres. So yeah,
There's this one video that I highly recommend anyone that wants to get this, but this guy named Wise Intelligent from the Poor Righteous Teachers, he breaks down essentially he makes a claim that he was metaphorically in the room when all of the business interests basically came in and they were like, look, like you're gonna start rapping about this and we're gonna go more into like the drugs and the violence and the sex because that's what's gonna sell, that's what's gonna make you rich. But it was also this intentional way of like not causing a disruption in like the social movements. Like don't keep talking about all these things that are going to make people more politically active, maybe less Public Enemy, more Cash Money, right? More
oh,
Master
right.
P, more Lil Wayne. Not that I disliked Hot Boys and Bling Bling, but it was definitely it almost felt like a complete 180 from the music that was popular maybe 5 years before that. Like it happened so freaking quick.
So quickly. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with having high frequency, low frequency. You want to be balanced. So there's nothing wrong with having things to entertain you, from a music perspective. So we got to keep that in mind. The problem is we don't have no balance today. And that's somebody orchestrating that. So we have all of these female rappers like a Sexy Red, and they got, a pregnant belly out, shaking their bottoms, so to speak. So, where is the balance? Where is the Lauryn Hill version of Sexy Red? Back then in the early 90s or the late 90s, you had a balance to the ratchet side of everything. And what I'm saying is that the Lauryn Hill version of Sexy Red or these Cardi B, whatever they putting out here, they do exist. The problem is that the industry has decided what is mainstream. So it takes the public to grab the ball again and start to deem what is the focal area of music we should be listening to, because it'll force the industry and force these labels to have to put these other artists at the fulcrum of what we're looking at, instead of using the conditioning of this low vibratory behavior that we like to indulge in sometimes. I mean, I like to go to a bar, have a drink, and look at women. There's nothing wrong with that. Or, I mean, I don't smoke, or do all of that type stuff. But we have two sides to how we conduct ourselves. We have a higher vibratory level, lower vibratory level. The problem is today, it's not hip hop, man. It's mind control, and they're persuading the next generation. Because if you look at, now that I'm a little bit older, I'm not going to say I'm old yet, but I've literally seen the effects that hip hop has had on these what are they, Gen Z? Who's after us? I think they're Gen Z. I think the next one is generation, is it Alpha? What
Or
comes
they
after
just
Gen
start
Z?
over from the beginning again. Is that how it works?
Yeah, I think it's generation Alpha. Yeah, so I've seen the effects on Alpha. I've seen
That's
the
wild.
effects.
It's almost like intentionally saying that it couldn't be farther away. Like Z couldn't be farther away from A.
Right, exactly. So I'm just seeing the effects on Alpha right now, and it's pretty bad. It's very bad. I thought we were bad. You know, I thought my generation was bad, but they don't have
I
nothing.
think the difference was that when we were being bad, like, we knew that we were being bad, but now when kids emulate, stuff that's going on, I think that there's this aspect where they don't even realize how bad it really is, like, they don't realize that the
Right,
music, like, little like, it's not normal to black out on Xanax and, promethazine and,
right.
like, alcohol every night. And even, like, in the '90s, when someone would talk about that, you'd be like, "Man, that guy is so wild, like, maybe I'll do that once in a while, but I could never do it every night, that's wild." But now when, like, every single rapper is just like, "Oh, yeah, I'm just blacking out on Xanax and lean, like, 3 or 4 times a day, it's normal," like, that raises that level. It's like that shifting spectrum, right? Where now it's like, "Oh, that's not so extreme. I only do that, like, every night. I don't do it 3 times a day, though," right? And then it keeps extending from
Right.
there, and then you find out they're all lying anyways. Like, they're not they're not doing any of this stuff that they're talking
They're
about,
not doing
or if
none
they
of it.
are, they like Lil Xan, right? Like, he's pulling out
Mhm.
guns and, like, got charges and, like, getting caught on camera doing dumb stuff, so, like, if that's not happening, then it's probably a lie.
Yeah, it's probably a lie. And yeah, most of these things these people are not even doing. You see with the YSL case and everything. Most of the things that we think these people are doing, they aren't doing, that's very oppish. That's very CIA-ish for you to be talking about this stuff so many times in your music that you just come out of nowhere because you're in trouble and say, "Oh, I never did that," really. Because that really affects the consciousness. So it's good that we're becoming aware and we're pointed out. But yeah, we can go into my, side of the albums. You want me to pull it up, or what
I
website were you
Either
using?
or, if you wanna pull it up, or you can just
You
tell
can
me what
pull
you're
it up
gonna.
because it's quicker because I have to put in, you had a great website, but
Yeah,
we
yeah.
can start. Yes. Either one. If you want to start with Pimple Butterfly, or Nas has an untitled album because he used the N word and they got real mad at him. And I think I had a J. Cole album. All right. So the song I want you to go here is, I think it's the last song on that. What is it? Hold on, let me make sure. Do you have the list of the songs up to Pimple Butterfly? Now, the interesting thing that makes this set out, bro, this album right here is one of two albums that was put into the Library of Congress. I think it's Mortal Man. No, How Much a Dollar Costs. How Much a Dollar Costs. How much a dollar. You just passed it. But that's the name of it. How Much a Dollar Costs. All right. So this album and Lauryn Hill's The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, which they never allowed Lauryn Hill to make music again. I think that's for a reason. I really believe they didn't like, what she was going to do with her message. So they shut her down. But her album, Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, and this album, To Pimp a Butterfly, are the only two albums that will be studied in the Library of Congress for the rest of time. That's out of hip hop. So that's something to look at.
This is nuts too. It says, December 9th, 2015, President Obama named this record as his favorite of the year.
Yes, yes. So this album has all of, if you look at the album cover, it's very interesting. It's all of these guys from Kendrick Lamar's I think it's from his hood that he grew up in. On top of they're standing at the White House on top of the judge, and the judge eyes is xed out on. So this is one of the most creative album art covers, they said, from a creativity level of all time. So that's one thing. Now, the interesting thing about To Pimp a Butterfly, because you have to listen to the poem at the end, because he actually has Tupac at the end of his album doing a poem about the butterfly at the very, very end.
Is it
And two,
part of Mortal Man?
I believe it Mortal? It could be Mortal Man. Try Mortal Man. Is at the end though. let's see, because I'll read. Yeah, that's it. That's it. So it's Kendrick Lamar talking to Tupac. Hold on. Okay, yeah, they're not separating. Okay, yeah. So he's asking Tupac a question. Okay, the one that's highlighted is Tupac talking back to him. He said, "Would you consider yourself a fighter at heart, or that some somebody that only reacts when they're back against the wall?" Tupac says, "That's the word. I like to think that every opportunity I've ever been threatened with resistance is met with resistance. And not only me, but it goes down my family tree," because he was a Black Panther. All right, can you go down a little bit? There's an important part in here. Okay. Okay, here it goes. Go back a little bit up, a little bit. Okay, a little bit more, a little bit more. Okay. He's okay. So Kendrick says, "That's crazy because me being one of your offsprings of the legacy you left behind, I can truly tell you that there's nothing but turmoil going on. So I wanted to ask you what you think is the future for me and my generation today." And he says, "I think that the N word is tired of grabbing shit out of the stores. And next time it's a riot, it's going to be like bloodshed for real. I don't think America know that. I think America think we just playing, and it's going to be some more playing, but it ain't going to be no playing. It's going to be murder. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be like Nat Turner up in this MFer. You know what I'm saying? But hold on, that wasn't the part. If you go a little bit more down, he said vibrations. Well, basically, I'll just sum up what he was saying. He's saying that people are going to get so hungry at the end because the government has been playing with these underprivileged people, that the underprivileged are going to eat the rich. Have you ever heard that speech from Tupac?
Yeah, eat the rich. I mean, that's a very common thing that you see now too in like all the protests.
Right. But he said they're going to be busting up in rich people houses, like having them for dinner. I was like, wow. When I heard that on the album, I don't know if he said that in the early 90s, but I was blown away when I heard that. But then he describes what's the butterfly to the caterpillar. Then Tupac dies in the middle of talking. He's trying to ask him a question. That's how the album ends. But yeah, he kept saying, Pac, what's your perspective on that? So if you can go back to the last song, how much a dollar really costs. I'm sorry, I did two songs on this, but just wanted to highlight the Tupac, aspect. The reason why this album is important is because it's the first hip hop album that blends funk as the main sound with, the current genre of hip hop. Nobody else was using funk in the mid 2000s and making it into a album. So this was the #1 album or hip hop album of the year, probably the #1 album. I'm not sure. I have to look back. I don't know what time. Yeah, I think it was 2015 it came out. So, and how much a dollar costs, it's about Kendrick Lamar coming across a transient. So some homeless guy, he's at a random gas station and he's asking him or Kendrick for change, just like any transient would do. So he says, walked out the gas station, a homeless man with a semi-tan complexion asked me for 10 rand, stressing about dry land, deep water, powder blue skies that crack open, a piece of crack that he wanted. I knew he was smoking. He begged and pleaded, asked me to feed him twice. I didn't believe it. I told him, beat it. Then he said, my son, temptation is one thing that I've defeated. Listen to me. I want a single bill from you. So this is the transient. Nothing less, nothing more. Kendrick says, I told him I ain't have it and close my door. Tell me how much a dollar costs. So then it goes back to the chorus. So they're singing in the chorus, and then he comes back. He says, he's staring at me in disbelief. My temper is building. He's staring at me. I grab my key. He's staring at me. I started the car, then I tried to leave. And then something told me to keep it in part until I could see. The reason why he was mad at a stranger, like I was supposed to save him, like I'm the reason he's homeless and asking me for a favor. He's staring at me. His eyes followed me with no laser. He's staring at me. I noticed that his stare is contagious because now I'm staring back at him, feeling some type of disrespect. If I could throw a bat at him, it'll be aiming at his neck. Okay, I didn't know what
Nope,
happened.
sorry, I lost. I'm clicking around and I lost it.
Okay, it's cool. It's a little
There we
bit down from there. Better, and there it goes. I never understood someone begging for goods, asking for handouts, taking it if they could. And this particular person just had it down pat, staring at me for the longest until he finally asked, "Have you ever opened Exodus 14? A humble man is all that we ever need. Tell me how much a dollar costs." All right, so chorus comes back on, and this is like the revelation of it all. And this really stuck with me, bro, because at this time I was in college. I had just graduated from college, and I had plenty of stories because the college I attended, it was a Shell gas station, had a Bojangles in it. Everybody would go to that Bojangles all the time. There were always like transients coming through there, bro. And I remember having this same experiences with the transient, but this last verse opened me up to a different perspective. So he says, guilt tripping and feeling resentment. I never met a transient that demanded attention. They got me frustrated, indecisive, and power tripping. Sour emotions got me looking at the universe different. I should distance myself. I should keep it relentless. My selfishness is what got me here. Who the F am I kidding? So I'm going to tell you, like I told the last bums, crumbs and pennies, I need all of mine. And I recognize this type of panhandling all the time. I got better judgment. Okay, you can skip down a little bit. Okay, he says, I smell grandpa's medicines reeking from your skin. In your babbling, your words ain't flattering. I'm imagining Denzel, but looking at O'Neal. Because Sam is sad trills. Your gimmick is mediocre. The jig is up. I seen you from a mile away, losing focus. Okay. And I'm insensitive. I lack empathy. He looked at me and said, your potential is bittersweet. I looked at him and said, every nickel is mine to keep. He looked at me and said, know the truth, it'll set you free. You're looking at the Messiah, the Son of Jehovah, the higher power, the choir that spoke the word, the Holy Spirit, the nerve of Nazareth. And I'll tell you how much a dollar costs, the price of having a spot in heaven. Embrace your loss. I am God. So the transient the whole time was God that was speaking to him. So I thought that was great. And they brought Ronald Isley in at the end and he closed it out. So I thought that was a great song for the album and for perspective. So yeah, I used to always have these transients, asking me for change, but I did give out a lot of change. I always had that giving heart. So I would give them, if I had something on them, I would give them a couple of dollars or whatever to help them. But if you looked at it from this song's perspective, that you could very well be having an interaction with God in the universe when you're doing that type of thing, instead of looking at it from a selfish point of view, which Kendrick was doing that at the beginning. So yeah, that's that album. If you can go to Nas, the N-Word album, the song from there, what's the name of that song? There's a lot of songs on this album. This album is so classic, bro. This is one of the forgotten. And they really hated him for naming this album the N-Word. Of course, Nas is on a run right now. He just came out with like 5 albums in like 2 years. So nobody ever got that much,
It's this one that ultimately got listed as untitled, right?
Yeah, yes, because they were just that mad at him for calling it the N-Word.
And he's got a big N on his back that looks like it's from like
the
whiplashing scars.
Yeah, but the message of the album is phenomenal. The message of the album, it transcends just looking at, the history, of how, you know, the ugliness of the word. It takes you deep into the reason why he named it after this, because people don't like to face, you know, the reality of America. And America is centered around this word, you know, whether we like it or not. Okay, so the song, what is it? Nigger, the slave and the master. This is a crazy song. So I'm not going to read all of this, but basically he's surmising how we have a relationship with our government. But he's not just speaking to black people. He's just speaking a message in whole of how there is still a slave master and they're still slaves. It's just in a different time frame. Of course, that's cliche. We hear that, but how he puts his lyrics together and he makes you uncomfortable by saying the N word and spelling it out to you. I feel like some people will miss the message of him doing that and not, you know, understand that he's speaking to everyone, you know, to where hip hop is, because people got mad at Nas for coming out with that Hip Hop Is Dead album a couple of years before this one. You remember that album?
I do. I remember mostly it was just underwhelming because it was supposed to be there was supposed to be this big like sequel to Illmatic, and then Stillmatic wasn't it, and then Nostradamus wasn't it, and then Hip
I
Hop Was
don't
Dead
know.
was supposed
Stillmatic
to
was
be it.
crazy. Stillmatic was crazy. Well, that's because of Ether, you know.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of, right? It was supposed to be Ether.
Yeah, Ether on Stillmatic made it big. Well, I mean, Stillmatic still, it was still a good album. I think that was the best album he had since Illmatic. And that's what Jay-Z was trying to highlight, really, is that, yo, you haven't done nothing since Illmatic. And Jay-Z was a fan. He ended up coming out saying, yo, I was really a fan of you. So when he came out and dissed him, people don't know, Nas, Jay-Z cried in an interview over the Ether diss. Have you ever heard that interview?
Not the one where he cries, no.
Yeah, he cries, bro. He literally he cries, man. You can look that up. Look up Jay-Z cries over Ether when you guys get a chance. So yeah, so that was that album. What was my other one?
You got J. Cole and
Okay, J.
Lupe
Cole came out with
Fiasco and Big
more
Crit.
in Big Crit. J. Cole is supposed to be the new generation Nas, you know? And yeah, Lupe Fiasco, we'll talk about that one. But J. Cole is supposed to be the new generation Nas. Matter of fact, him and Nas did a song together talking about the reflection of this generation's Nas going back to, you know, Nas himself and how he felt like he let Nas, yeah, that's the name of the song, Let Nas Down. When he first dropped his first single, Nas actually said that it was whack. Said that J. Cole's, I mean, we were anticipating J. Cole to be this big artist from his mixtapes. You know, today you have industry plans. Back then, you would have to come out with like 2 dope mixtapes. Then a label hears your mixtape. You send it to a label. They listen to all of your material. Then they sit you down and talk about a record deal. And you plan out your first album, your release album. So when he did come out with his first album, Nas was like, yo, that ain't it, yo. That's kind of trash. So he made a song on I think it was I don't know, it was the second or the third album. It's called Let Nas Down. Is that on
Yeah,
that? Yeah,
this is the
okay,
song right here.
that's it. Okay, it was. It's on the second album. So yeah, there it goes right there. Yeah, I'm correct. But that's not the original. Can you look up the original album art to Born Sinner? That's not it, those little lines. The original art is like this devil on it. And I think that was real occult. Yeah, that's it. That's it. So there's some things like people really, you know, was scared of this album cover when it came out. I heard a lot of people say it was controversial, but he was trying to paint a message, you know, that everyone has, you know, a polarized side to themselves. Oh, you don't have to blow it up, bro. But yeah, my main point with this album is that he combined gospel. He took the church, because most Black people, we were raised somewhat in Baptist Christian, you know, churches, and he made a whole entire album around gospel. Then he named it Born Sinner, and a lot of the song is referenced biblically, you know, throughout the song. So it was an interesting album from the point of view you're reflective of being in church, sitting with grandma, sitting with, you know, your moms, listening to the choir sing, and, you know, on a early Sunday morning, but then having this dope ass rapper rap over, you know, the gospel singles. You know, that was something that was different from that perspective. Yeah, he had a song talking about the Adam and Eve story. I think that's what Kendrick, I think. Did he make that? Yeah. Kendrick, that's like one of the only songs they did together on an album, actually. I think they did some mixtape stuff together, but they wanted Kendrick and J. Cole to come out with the album. But the lyrics to this, bro, the lyrics on this album around the time when I was listening to it was next level, bro. This projected J. Cole way up there, you know, in the ranks. Probably made him a top 10 rapper of all time. That's just my, you know, my top 10. But a lot of people do have J. Cole in their top 10 now. Okay, so that's that. Lupe Fiasco. Now this was crazy. Like the Cool, that's the name of it.
Yeah, I
Have
remember
you
when
ever heard this
this one
album?
came out. This was like in my workout playlist, like nonstop.
This was my album, bro. Back in like 2008 or 2007. This is all we played. We had a similar van like Kendrick Lamar's first album, Good Kid, Mad City. All of his friends rode around in this van. We rode around in this. We rode around in this van. We all rode to all of the parties, everything in a van. And this album was on nonstop, bro. From football practice to the movies, wherever we were going, we used to play Go Go Gadget Flow.
Yep.
Yep, I got my Go Go Gadget Flow. So the album is about.
This hook.
Yeah, I got my Go 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 Go.
It's just funny seeing it written out like that.
Right. I forgot about the real cartoon as well, but the album is about making the cool, like how people try to be cool. They made it into a metaphysical entity that rose from the dead and is killing all of the gangsters in the album. Like there's a lot of songs where this entity rises from the dead, and the gangsters that's trying to reflect being cool, the entity of the cool from the past is resurrected and kills them for trying to be cool. So they replace the corpse in the current time with the cool that comes out of the grave and kills them. So it's a very metaphysical album. It's based on, I think, an album before that. No, it's based on a song. There's a song called "The Cool." If you look up that song, it's the original. Yeah, there's a song called "The Cool." Yes, and he's describing. Yeah, he says he came back from the same suit he was buried in, similar to the one his grandfather was married in. Yes, he was still fresh to death. I got to play this song when I get off. I haven't heard it in a while.
I wish we could
So,
just play him on here, but yeah, we would just get
I
nuked
know.
out of orbit immediately.
Yeah, so but basically he's describing what he looks like. I think there's a picture you can look up too of what they think the cool looks like. And that was the first song. Then he made a whole album to that one song because it was like that big. You know, and I still haven't figured out the album art. Do you see any symbols that you may come across with that? Yeah, I don't know what that is. I know it's a cult, but I never figured out what exactly that symbol comes from. It looks alchemical.
That's a good question. Well, I mean, yeah. So it says Lupe Fiasco in the middle. That kind of looks like Arabic or something. But the one on the bottom left is a skull with a bunch of tentacles, like an octopus.
Hmm.
The one on the right looks like a heart shaped block, and then on the top here is like
A
I want to say a
skeleton hand.
hand, but it's not a human hand. Like it looks like a reptile hand or something.
Oh, okay. Good observation. So I don't know. I don't know if there's
Yeah,
yeah.
because a human hand, maybe it's a human hand.
Well, I know the cool is supposed to be, I don't know, it's supposed to be human, but it's demonic as well. They have a music video too, bro, of the cool. I know he has green eyes. Yeah, they had like a music video of him getting out of the grave. That's still the albums. Is that it? Yeah, I think that's it.
Hold on, let me go on mute real quick.
Okay. Oh no, that's
All
not
right.
okay. Maybe that's not it. It's the song. Okay, yeah. That's what he looks like. That's what he looks like. Yeah. Kind of looks like, yeah, that's what he's supposed to
The
look
guy in the
like.
back left here.
Yes, yes, that's it right there. Yeah, so that's what he looks. So he's still a human. It's humanoid. But yeah, but this album, like Lupe, is one of the greatest lyricists of all time. I mean, they got this dude teaching classes in Harvard now. You know that he teaches hip hop classes in Harvard. So yeah, so that's my
So that's a Skull and Bones land, right? That's kind of funny.
right out there. You know,
So
teaching
there's a
classes.
very real possibility that somebody in Skull and Bones is learning from Lupe Fiasco while they're at Harvard.
Absolutely, absolutely, because he's teaching like the physics of rap. He's teaching how in the drum patterns, the silence in between the drums is very impacting on the conscious mind. The silence mean more than the actual drum patterns. I thought that was interesting. He was breaking that down. So,
This was probably my favorite lyric-wise song on this album, Dumb It Down.
oh, dumb it down. Yeah. See, the dumb it down comes from the cool though. The dumb it down was originally on the cool, but they had another album with dumb it down. I mean, they had another song on another album talking about Dumb It Down that he made it into a bigger song, which is speaking about how a lot of people in that generation around the middle 2000s, they didn't like lyrical music.
Mhm.
They like music like, oh, I think they like me. Oh, I think they like me. They like that real. Yeah. So he was saying, yo, oh, maybe I should dumb myself down, then I'll be as big as these other rappers. And he's from Chicago as well, Lupe Fiasco. So he has that whole Chicago theme around him, but like
And
Obama and Kanye.
I feel that Dumb It Down thing was like it was almost like a departure from like if you were to look up like Wu-Tang lyrics or like a Killa Priest album and look through the lyrics, you know, like by like basic instructions before leaving Earth.
Right,
You would do that, and then that's kind of what I imagine that like the cool is telling them, like, you know, stop all this like metaphysical and like intergalactic and like none of that. Like, just give me
right.
a hook that's real simple. And this also it reminds me of Gold Watch, because Gold Watch I kind of imagined as like this is that Dumb It Down, right? Like I like
Yeah,
Gucci and Yamamoto and Max Roach solo. Like this felt to me like this was the Dumb It Down aspect.
yeah, it was. It was. Go Yard bags. You hear about Go Yard and all of this type stuff. But all of the songs, bro, every one of these songs, let me tell you, I know about every lyric. I can rap the whole album. I can rap the album with my eyes closed because it was that influential on my life. And I feel like after this album, they silence him, bro. How do you feel? Did you ever listen to Lupe like that?
I mean,
Or
this was the last album that I really, really liked and had on repeat.
well, this
And it
is the
wasn't like
last
I
one. Mhm.
stopped caring, but I don't know. Whatever the album was that came out right after that, it didn't hook me as much.
Well, it didn't do nothing because it feels like they almost silenced him after this album, honestly. Food and Liquor was crazy, but that was before. That was
Yep.
before the Cool.
I
That was
I
mhm.
remember when Food and Liquor came out. I This is another like way back in the day, but there was a website called undergroundhiphop.com
Mhm.
um that was run by I think Spez. Shout out Spez. But this is where like a lot of the early hip hop producers would like congregate and share tips and everything. But I remember when Lupe Fiasco Food and Liquor came out, people were talking about this like it was the new golden standard. Like, oh, like everyone wants to do that Lupe sound, or everyone wanted to like elevate themselves to the level of Food and Liquor. So that
Yeah.
was a huge one. And then the Cool comes out. Okay, Lasers. Lasers was the next big one that I think.
Yeah, Lasers was
That's
you
what I'm
know.
saying though, right? It went from the Cool to Lasers.
And we were very, very mad about Lasers. Very, very mad because he went completely industry. Look at these people on the album.
We got John Legend. Yeah.
Got John. Now we love Matthew Santos. Now we love Matthew Santos. Um, he was on the Cool too. He has oh man, what was the song from the Cool with Matthew? The Fighters. Oh my God, the Fighters are so dope. But
This wasn't a bad album. It just I don't think I loved it as
no,
much as Cool.
yes, it was, bro. It was bad.
Really? I remember liking a few. Like All Black Everything was a decent song. Uh
I mean, you heard I'm beaming.
yeah,
Get
I
out.
didn't mention Beeman. I didn't mention that one.
I mean, that's the main song. Look at the views on the beaming. It's like the main
Well, I
song.
mean, compared to All Black Everything is 150, and then this one
Okay,
Show Goes
well,
On's
okay,
got
I get
300.
it. The show goes on. That's the main song. My bad. Okay. The show goes on. All right. Oh, na, 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 na,
All right, don't get
and
us kicked off. That sounds too accurate. They're gonna get caught.
that's that's mainstream type stuff. So he
So
went
okay, so
mainstream.
Lasers, and
But
then
Tetsuo and Youth. Go to Tetsuo and Youth. Now this album is great. 2015. Go back and listen to this album. Wow, this was an amazing album. But the problem with this album is it's not in order. It's just a bunch of great songs. So yeah,
this
this
is
this stuff
wild.
has a
What the cover art posted on Instagram is the insignia of the Bavarian Illuminati. I don't.
I never knew
What am
that.
I not seeing?
I've never knew that before in my life. But this album is dope as hell. I know that.
Oh wow, okay. So I guess when he first posted it on Instagram, he posted an image of the Bavarian Illuminati. That's nuts, dude. I didn't know that.
Wow. Wow. Dude, you good at finding this stuff, man.
Yeah, 2014.
Yep, 2014. That's
That's
it.
wild. It says Lupe posted the cover art on his Instagram with the Latin caption "Milli Annorum Lumen," which means 1,000 years old. The
Damn, the
title
Barry
dots and
Illuminati.
lines refers to the Pigpen cipher. Okay, yeah. This is crazy, bro. This is a
What?
like this is an old Masonic cipher too that they used to use. Yeah, look right here. Also known as the Masonic or the Freemason cipher, Rosicrucian. This is one of the
20 years.
easiest ones where this is the cipher is that um if this were like the default, right? Like if someone just said use Pigpen, this is how it would look. So that if I
Mhm,
wanted to write the letter like dad, right? DAD, I'd
mhm,
write like this part of the D, I would write this, like a little like uh square missing the left side. So that would be the D.
mhm,
And then I would draw a corner A, and then I would draw another side like the D. So all you would have to do is just put any letters wherever you wanted in all of these, put the little dots, and then give someone that cipher. And now they knew whatever the weird little amalgamation, like, yeah, like this is a good example. So if you had the cipher, you would know what all these different symbols meant. But if you didn't have the cipher, it would take a little bit more time to figure it out. It's definitely
Oh,
not
I get it.
like in like
Wow.
it's not like HTTPS encryption at that point. You know, anyone could break this by hand, but that's nuts though,
Okay.
man. I've never even seen any of that before, and that's what the concept of dots and lines is talking about Freemason cipher.
Man, I honestly, I'm glad I mentioned it because I didn't know, so I'm learning something. I didn't know that, but this is probably the only album I'll play other than the cool. I'll play this one, and this is so much lyricism in this crap. Like it's crazy. Like the lyricism, and he does mention a lot of Rosicrucian.
Well, yeah, it says right here, my sword is from Kemet, Egyptian fonts and Ankhs, and then Scottish rites with Mont Blancs. It's so, but it's like
Right.
Scottish rite, RITE, but it's also, you know, like
Right.
because of the wordplay. It's so, and yeah, he's talking about as I walk as my father walk, master builder. That's Hiram Abiff that I assume he's talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Sacred geometry,
Well, he's
golden
definitely
means.
got to
Yeah,
be a
this is like
Freemason.
all like Freemasonic
Right.
information in here.
Oh, now that you're saying that, I do see it. So each degree has a part the price.
Yep.
See big swirls having little swirls, feed on their velocity. What?
This is why this site is so dope too. Genius.com. It's mostly for hip hop lyrics, but you can click on some of these lines and it
Yeah.
even shows you, look, here's a little Freemasonic chart that he's talking about. And if
Wow.
you click on like sacred geometry, it gives you like a little breakdown of what sacred geometry is.
Wow. I never went on this. I know hip hop or rap genius. I just never looked at this album line from line. So
Damn, this
are you
is
talking
so
about the
dope too. Look
finale?
at chapter 14 of Revelations contains the three angels' message. The passage warns about not receiving the mark of the beast, and then he talks about the sign as like the mark of the beast, but also as a sine wave, and that these like
Wow.
three angels is maybe like three repetitions of a sine wave. That's so dope, man.
Oh, I never knew that. I love the three. I love that song. The three ain't. Is that the dot and line still? Is
And
that
he's
the
saying
same
the
song?
three angels also references the three trigonomic functions of sine, cosine, and tangent. This is dope, man. I never
Yeah,
knew any of this.
yeah. The song. I used to listen to that song all the time. I didn't know it was referencing the sine wave, and I talk about
It's
sine
talking
wave.
about sacred geometry and Rosicrucianism and Freemasonry. You didn't even know it.
Wow, wow. Now it makes me. What does Tetsuo in youth mean then? Is that like some type of phrase? I've seen that phrase before, but I don't know what it means. I don't know who. Yeah, who's? I know about Tetsuo in the anime. They have an anime called. What is the famous anime with
It's
Tetsuo?
right here. Akira.
Akira. Yeah, yeah. That's the only Tetsuo I know.
When
So
also this one, Iron Man, a movie
yeah,
from
I don't know
'89
about.
from Japan, also sounds like something Lupe Fiasco would be rapping about.
Yeah, Iron Man. Yeah, might be
I don't
reference to
know.
that.
I don't know what that what Tetsuan youth means either.
Yeah, I don't have no idea. But yeah, we can move on to the next. Yeah, we kind of did two right there, but it was dope. Um, what was the last one? Uh,
Big Crit.
Big Crit. So yeah, Big Crit. I'll just be short. I mean, Big Crit is like the hidden gem of hip hop. I feel like nobody gives this guy no credit. This guy is super lyrical. He's country. He's real country. So people kind of overlook it because I mean he's not that country. Let me just make a disclaimer. He's not so country where you can understand him. He's a Nas Lupe as a country artist, like a country rap artist. So he has all of the lyricism, but he raps like someone from the deep. Yeah, he just released his album. I haven't listened to it yet. It just came out like a couple of days ago. I'm a part of this music chat, and they said, "Yo, Big Crit just dropped." So I have to give a listen to that. I'm taking my time. I'm letting everybody else listen to it, and I'm gonna come back to it. But live from the underground classic. Forever and a Day. Oh my God. King Remembered in Time. It's Better This Way. That's a classic. But Catalactica was my album. That's what I was riding to. It's kind of like referencing the Cadillac. To Southern people, it's like their UFO, and it's describing the South from a cosmic perspective. But this album has a story to it. It's like he comes down from the moon in a Cadillac-like ship and crashes on Earth, and he's experiencing hip hop through a Southern lifestyle, almost like this, sort of like Outcast, the AT aliens. He's an alien from a universe, or I don't know, a galactic world called Catalactica, and he's describing how where he comes from coincides with the planet here. So just a great album to listen to. The sounds, the way, because he makes all of his beats, by the way. Let me just mention that him and J. Cole make all of their beats. That's what sets them apart from other. Oh, that's my song, Third Eye. Oh my God, that's my song. Yeah. So yeah, people should give Big Crit a listen, man. Yeah, so yeah, I know this world is full of so many clones.
Yeah, it's dope. Man. It's got a song called Mind Control, one called Third Eye, and the Third Eye is talking about clones. I mean, yeah, this is right up my alley, man. This is awesome.
Yeah, yeah. You guys can give it a listen. He is a student of hip hop, so you'll see a lot of mention to the OGs, the pioneers, and yeah, his beats are fascinating, bro. You don't come across the talent of a Big Crit every day. I think he'll finally get his flowers due. I think he's right up there with the Drakes, Kendrick Lamars, and J. Cole's of the day. He's just like a hidden king of hip hop. Some people recognize him, some people don't. But give it a listen, bro, if you can, or anybody else that's listening in today.
Yeah, we didn't pick any Drake songs. Is there like a Drake song that's like incredibly esoteric and full of gems?
Early Drake. I would have to call my friend and ask because he listens to everything Drake says. He can quote every Drake lyric. I think I remember one. It's like I forgot the name of the song though. I think it's "Don't Be Scared of Me." Please don't be scared of me. But I don't think it's referencing Illuminati stuff per se. But the recent Drake and J. Cole music video, you can look that up, has some esoteric Illuminati stuff in it. Let me try to get you the song name.
First person shooter?
Yes, first person shooter. There you go. First person shooter. Yeah, you cut the sound. If you go through that, you'll see some symbolism here. They're playing in front of all of these people.
They playing ping pong?
Yeah, it's like ping pong. They're playing chess at the table. There's a chess game. And I've noticed they both had the 24
Oh, it's
jersey.
the Spider-Man meme, yeah.
Yeah. And he has 44 on his back. 44 in gematria means a lot. It's connected to government as well. You see the art right there. That looks like what? That's a portal at the rim. What is that? Hands?
Making their hands making like a heart.
Yeah, so could be referencing heart chakra type stuff. But there was something I saw in there that was, yeah, there's the owl, of course, the famous Moloch owl. Yeah, so yeah, the name of the album is For All the Dogs. Yeah, and then they make him a giant. That's what they did at the end. They make him this big giant, like he's walking through the city like Godzilla or something like that. I was like, whoa, but they said that this music video is one of the greatest music videos of all time. I don't know why they put it up there, but there's literally, you can look up articles on it. I'm like, it's not that good, bro. But they just love Drake. Like anything Drake does, they just automatically deem it, is great. So
Yeah, you see all the OVO stuff in the background.
right. Yeah, yeah. Some people think, see it in comments, they think Drake killed XXX Tentacion, and he addresses that on this new album For All the Dogs. XXX Tentacion was a young rapper and producer that was doing a new wave to hip hop music. And he was accusing Drake, XX was accusing Drake of stealing his sound. And he had receipts of Drake stealing music that was unreleased from him. So he was saying that what Drake does, he gets these no-name artists. And you'll see, just like how Drake blew up the Migos, Offset, Cardi B's husband, as part of the group. He comes and he's like a parasite. He attaches himself to these no-name people, and he puts a verse on their sound, blow them up, and then the sound gets associated with Drake forever because he was on their first blow up single. So everyone's like scared of Drake. That's what X was trying to explain, that, yeah, this guy goes around and, yeah, he was very metaphysical. This guy was super occult. This XXX Tentacion guy.
Yeah, well documented interest in the occult.
Yeah, super occult. Super. If you look at his tattoos on his face, you can see that.
So housemates from his time living recalled that he had a collection of books on occult and took part in rituals.
Right.
While living there, his former partner pretended to be demonically possessed as a way to scare him out of their relationship, but instead it fascinated him. So someone's like, oh, I'm gonna just pretend to be demonically possessed to make this X Tentacion guy leave me alone. And then X Tentacion was like, oh, this is awesome. You're possessed by a devil. Let's chill even more.
Yeah. Then it said right after that he was inspired by Rudolf Steiner. So that's interesting. So
that's what I know. He doesn't get a lot of love necessarily, but I've got a couple of his albums on vinyl too, because I really did like his style. I can't remember the name of it.
Me too.
It was like an all black album.
Me too. I have a lot of his music, especially his last.
This one right here,
17. Yeah, I got 17 too.
17 is a great album, man. Like
it is.
Not every song is a banger for me, but there's more than enough on there to make it worth owning.
Yeah. I think he was going to be bigger or big as Drake if he had lived.
And here, I got one last one since you brought up
Devin the
and AT Aliens. You know Devin the Dude?
Yes, man. That's my cousin loves this guy, man. It's all we listened to growing up, bro.
So this is one of my favorite albums, Just Trying to Live. It's hard to even pin down a specific one, but man, when it comes to rap albums about aliens, this is my very favorite rap song about aliens, with Zeldar from the planet Beldar which is 8 million Judy Beaks from Saturn. I always thought this is the funniest line. Like, what the hell's a Judy Beak?
Devin is so funny.
Is that a real word? I don't think it's a real word.
It can't be, bro.
It can't be, right? But someone added, okay, someone just added a little, it means 100,000 miles.
Hey, look, the ... So he's pretty far from Saturn.
And he crashes into a field with green leafy trees. So like, yeah, the alien basically crashes into the planet, but he crashes into a weed crop. And he takes his stealth cutter, whatever that is, cut it and smoked it. So he becomes an instant fan, and they go to Walmart and they just kind of like chill.
Whoa, this is funny. He said, "What'd you say your name was?"
I love Devin the Dude, man.
Yeah, me too, bro. Like I got introduced. My older cousin, he used to always play Devin the Dude riding plays. Of course, he smoked weed, but he kind of grew on me, over the years. So I have like a Devin the Dude playlist on my bigger music playlist of songs I've heard over the years. So He don't
This
get
one's
his recognition as well, though. He's big, bro.
well, he's prolific too. He would put out like an album like 2 or 3 a year at some points. This song
Right.
right here, who's that? He's singing about himself, or like, if a little kid showed up to a rap concert and it's like, "Mom, why is this guy being rude to the fans and grabbing his dick? And look, he's doing it again, Mom. Why is he doing it?" But I love this song, man.
Yeah, his storytelling, though.
Yeah.
He had such a great way of storytelling that was hilarious, bro. I've
Yeah,
never
what was
he's one of the like Ludacris kind of. He's like a old school Ludacris, like especially his
oh,
music videos. His music videos are classic too. If you go look, check that out.
To the extreme. Honestly, it's hard to pick like a
Yeah,
favorite Devin the Dude album. Waiting to Inhale's an amazing one. They're all really
Waiting
good.
to Hell.
Almighty Oh man, they're talking about the what's a dollar cost, and the like the
Mhm.
bum from the Kendrick Lamar. This is
How much a
really
dollar cost?
similar to that
Yeah,
one. Look at this
yeah.
one. The almighty dollar ain't what it used to be. Hobos used to ask you for $1. Now they ask you for 3. Oh, I love it, man.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, bro.
So, all right, let's we'll wrap this one up a little bit. I was fascinated, man, to find out that you were into music. Maybe you got a song coming out. There's an EP that might never see the light of day. Who knows? I got a couple of those too. Projects that'll never see the light of day. I don't know. Maybe we leak them somehow. We figure out ways to leak them.
Yeah. I mean, I think I want to get back and record a EP. I want to do something. I want to do something metaphysical out of this world. Like I've never done that. Like you'd be surprised to hear my rap style and how I rap, but I would like to be, just for my own, way of expressing my creativity. I want to do something like a metaphysical EP. I've been talking about it with this other guy who's saying we should call it force and magic, or magic and force. Like that should be the other, reverse form of it. And I was like, okay, because he was saying from his era, Star Wars was like the trendsetter of everything from his era. Like Star Wars is that big to him. And to me, Harry Potter was like just as big as Star Wars. So he's representative of Force, the Force in Star Wars. I'm representative of the magic generation. And then you merge them together. So that's an idea that we've been talking about for the last couple of years. But I'm just open. I want to use my creativity and my gift and do something with it. So yeah, maybe we should do something and link
I'm
up. And
down, man. If you ever want to collaborate, I'm down. I got more.
I
Like I
do.
said, I've been doing music for therapy for the last 2 decades, so I've got like 20 years worth of a backlog. Just kind of, if I make something that I liked, I might save it and listen to it again later, and no one else has ever heard it outside of that.
Okay, well, yeah, bro. Me too. I think this is more for therapy now. That's a good term. So I want to do it, bro. Let's try to do something. And it's always a pleasure to be, on your show. I think it's a great idea. This was a good idea to come up with this.
Well, I'm
And
excited to do funk, man. Funk will be a fun one.
right, I think with more episodes, I'm gonna do a little bit more digging in history, be a little bit more prepared to dig in this because I gotta talk
Say,
about
I
this
mean,
a
you
long
got to
time.
start somewhere, right?
Right, right, right. And it was great for us to start. It's a great beginning to it, though.
So, and here's another little project that I've been working on called Tinfoil Trap. This one is this one's gonna come out with the new Sam Tripoli Chaos Twins comic. Anyone that got a Chaos Twins
Okay.
comic is gonna get this in with it, and on the back it's got a QR. I don't think I've got. Do I have it? Oh yeah, here we go. Here's the back of it. I'm still working on it, but it'll have
Mhm.
a QR code that you'll be able to scan that'll bring you to tinfoiltrap.com, which doesn't go anywhere at this exact moment. But it'll basically just have a playlist of all the different musicians and songs and credits and everything. And this is just a free project that we're putting out. So this might be dope. And another quick little ending shout out to Sound Scientist on SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes, everything. This cult classic album I just dropped like last week, and I've got this Clinton one too. I don't know why my Spotify keeps doing this, but I gotta like restart it.
Yeah.
But yeah, look for Sound Scientists. Let me know what you think. The Clintons' greatest hits. It's a full length album.
I actually listened to
about the Clintons.
I actually listened to it. I think you sent me something in Instagram. It was late at night, and I listened to it. I played it. It's pretty good, bro.
Here's the idea: is that like the things that are said in that song, like you could never say it on YouTube and stay monetized, let alone not get a strike, right? And I probably couldn't post it like on any channel I can think of, maybe Rumble or Rockfin or something. But if it's in a song, then it's like this magic pass. Like you're allowed to sing the exact same. Like I could make all the wildest claims about Comet Ping Pong, right? But if I said it in a YouTube video and I looked at the camera and I was like, I'm serious and I mean all this, and I said it, I get in trouble. But if I look in the camera, I'm like, I mean all this, but I'm going to sing it. And then it turns into a song. Like now you're allowed to say it. So I'm going to just see how far I can push this. I might not necessarily give the ingredients to make like bombs or drugs, but I don't know. Maybe I'll get close enough. I don't know. We'll see, man.
Keep experimenting, but I think it's great. You know, it's very creative and very interesting and funny. So I like it. I played it and like it. So I think you guys will like it as well.
Thank you, man. We'll schedule another one. You guys stay tuned. New series, Sound Science. I'll exit on this commercial. So thanks again, Ani. A quick shout out where people can find you and follow you. I feel like you got more of your fans in the chat than me. So
no, it's cool, man. You guys come over to YouTube, Ani Osaru, and come over to patreon.com/the_spiritual shade room. You can follow me on Instagram at the spiritual shade room and the number 1 at the end. And thanks for having me, bro.
Thank you, man. All right, everyone. Thanks for watching.
American stickers, cryptids, cults, and killers. Seek out all your favorite conspiracies. All the land and more on a sticker sheets. Paranoid American stickers, they'll make you smile and snicker. False flags and secret societies. All of these and more on a sticker sheets.
Explore the unique with Paranoid American sticker sheets. Unearth tales of cryptids, cults, and mysteries through each sticker. These won't last long. Get yours now at paranoidamerican.com.
We're all American stickers, cryptids, cults, and killers. We got all your favorite conspiracies. All of that and more on our sticker sheets. Paranoid American stickers, they'll make you smile and snicker. False flags and secret societies. All of these and more on our sticker sheets.
What the heck are you waiting for? Discover the extraordinary with Paranoid American sticker sheets. From cryptids in the night to cults out of sight, each sticker is a unique find. Get yours now at paranoidamerican.com.